Hello, 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 hello. This is Tales of the Unknown, and I'm here with another reaction. This one is called "Why the Dallas Cowboys Have Sucked Since 1996" by KTO. Man, I don't know why I'm even watching this. Maybe subconsciously I'm preparing myself for like a terrible season, and I'm just trying to set my mindset to that. I saw this video on my feed, and I guess since I watched the last video that I uploaded, which was about them choking in the playoffs, so I guess it's like, hey, you want to watch this? And I'm like, there's probably shit that I don't already know. Who knows? I feel like the answer to this video is the same one I've had, and it's Jerry Jones. I can't see it being about anything else, because if things don't change from the top, how do you expect everything else to change? Everything underneath to change as well. If you can't change from within, how do you expect yourself outwardly to change? So I feel like it comes down to culture. It comes down to Jerry Jones, and I love Shoddy. I really have grown to love Shoddy, and seen, and hearing how he speaks and talks in the media and press conferences and shit like that, and the way the players love him. I just feel like, even with all that, it really comes down to Jerry Jones either not being there anymore or changing, and I just feel like an old dog cannot learn new tricks. So I feel like it's Jerry Jones, and it's just going to be in depth, so just like 24 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna put this out there and give a lot of Dallas Cowboy haters some content to love. So, all right. So, into the unknown, or most likely the known, we go, people.
From 1970 to 1995, the Cowboys played in 14 of the 26 NFC championships.
Damn.
Then, over the next 29 seasons, the Cowboys played in 0.
Oh my God, bro! Look at that! Look at this right here, man. It's so bad. Look at this shit. 14 to 26. That's more than half. Look at that shit. 14 to 26. That's half. That's more than half. Look over here. 0 out of 29. That shit is ridiculous, bro. Laughable. What's I say about our division that they still haven't caught up with us? I mean, damn, Giants are at 4, so they're close. How many did the Redskins have, or Commanders have? Was it 3? I think they have 3. And the Eagles got 2. But they act like they got 10. Sorry asses. Alright. God, that's bad, man. It's one thing when you think about it in your head, but when they put it out there in fucking videos like this, fuck. Alright.
This makes them the only team in the NFC to not make it to that game once in that time. To answer this video's title, the reason is Jerry Jones. Thanks for watching. In all seriousness, it's a bit more complicated than just...
Hey, thanks for watching. That's it. You don't need to make the video any longer than it needs to be. I don't need to make this reaction video any longer than it needs to be. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. See you in the next video. That's what I should say, because that's it. But let's see how much more in detail this man goes.
Jerry Jones. But at the end of the day, over the last 30 years, he's had a massive role in what's transpired.
I don't have time to have a bad time. It isn't on my schedule.
Of the 32 franchises in the NFL,
it ain't on my schedule. This motherfucker right here. Oh my God.
The Cowboys are the only one that has their owner also acting as the general manager. This creates an obvious problem because when the roster stinks, this GM ain't getting fired.
Right. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't.
What?
And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
But here's the weird thing.
What the fuck? The fuck is going on with his mind? The fuck you think about glory holes for? Come on, bro. This man's mind on some other shit, bro. That's some fucking weird ass shit to say, man. At a fucking press conference, talking about glory holes. This old bastard, man. All right.
The Cowboys have been one of the most successful franchises in recent memory in terms of regular season wins.
Yep.
Wait, is this you when trying to build a website? Because I got you.
Oh? Check out Bluehost. They haven't...
Ranking 11th in the NFL since 2000. Yet despite this, they've only won 4 measly wildcard games in that span. How is that possible?
I can't believe we lost. God, ain't nobody else playing.
In this video, we will...
Come on, bro. Yeah, man. It's like look, we can get past the wild card. At least recently. But it's like when we get to the divisional round, well, we just stink it up, bro. It's like we're cursed or something. Like damn, man. Fucking sad. It's either we get a bye and then we go to the divisional round and suck, or we get into the wild card and we could win that one and then get into the divisional round and then suck ass there too. Oh, we got an ad. We got time for this, buddy. Sorry. No offense. Okay.
To start things off, let me give the fastest explanation of the Cowboys from 1960 to 1995 that I can. The Cowboys were an expansion team in 1960 that eventually saw sustained success with head coach Tom Landry. They had this 18-year stretch where they won more Super Bowls than years missing the playoffs. But by the late 80s, things had fallen apart, and owner Bum Bright sold the team to Jerry Jones in 1989. Jones fired Landry and brought in Jimmy Johnson, who revived the team. Johnson, who ended up being an amazing coach, orchestrated the famous Herschel Walker trade in 1989, sending the running back to Minnesota for their entire draft. This helped Dallas build the best roster in the NFL, led by the triplets, Aikman, Smith, and Irvin. A few years later, the Cowboys went on to win back-to-back Super Bowls. But the power struggle between Jones and Johnson led to Johnson's shocking departure from the team. Jones, who famously said that he could have won with 500 different coaches, brought in Barry Switzer, who had much less of a spine than Johnson. But luckily, the roster was so good, they managed...
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That was Jimmy Johnson's team, and they were still filled with that talent. But they also still were, at least at some point, still willing to hold themselves accountable to their own shit, even though they would party hard and shit. But eventually, that whole stuff starts wearing off when your coach ain't shit. You know, he don't discipline nothing. This motherfucker's lazy as shit. That's why Dallas sucked after this Super Bowl win, necessarily, and also because Jerry went and he made like this, like a prayer to God or something, just basically saying, please let him win this one. He won't. Don't matter if he don't win another one, as long as he wins this one. And God said, okay, I told you, I'll do this, but like I said, you ain't winning another one. It's funny because that's how it happened, man. Ain't won one since that prayer. No, but then, you know, Barry was just so... From what I remember as a kid, he just fell apart. I even remember him slapping somebody on live television. It was a preseason game against the New England Patriots. That's fuck. It could have been Jerry hadn't let his damn ego get in the way.
To win it all again in 1995, marking 3 titles in 4 years.
America's
Okay, now with that out of the way, we will be more meticulous with each passing year. 1996 got off to a rough start. In March, police arrested Michael Irvin in a hotel room for cocaine possession with 2 self-employed models. He ended up not being charged for the incident, but was suspended for 5 games. In general, the 90s Cowboys were insane off the field. They were constantly in the news,
Yep.
There was always controversies, and there's a really good video about it done last year by Brandon Perna. He goes a lot more into depth on the off-field madness of those times, and I'm not going to go into that much depth, but I will mention a few more points.
Yeah. This is most likely the stuff that right there with Michael Irvin and other stuff is going to be in that documentary that's supposed to come out on Netflix, I think on the 18th or 19th of August, which I cannot wait because I will be watching it day one. And I'll probably be rewatching it over and over again because I've watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, you know, their final year together and shit like that. I've watched that like countless amount of times because I love that documentary so much, and now the Dallas Cowboy one, I will be watching it too. So, be watching it over and over, and more so than The Last Dance. So, I can't wait for that one. But yeah, you know, Dallas was, you know, the players were always kind of known as, you know, they partied hard, but man, when they came to work, they came to work. But like I just said earlier, without that discipline, Jimmy's discipline, that shit fell apart, bro.
Barry Switzer resigned after 1997, a season in which he was arrested for bringing a loaded gun to the airport, and the team finished 6-10 off 5 straight losses. At a crossroads, Jerry hired Chan Gailey. Gailey had a much less impressive pedigree than the previous 2 coaches.
Chan Gailey is here to coach, do the kinds of things we need to do from a head coaching perspective.
His last head coaching gig was at Sanford, not to be
fucking
confused with Stanford. And most recently, he had been the OC for the Steelers. And once he was on the Cowboys, famously, he didn't want to draft Randy Moss. In his 2 seasons as the head coach, they were sort of like the modern-day Steelers.
Oh yeah, and that didn't
they
hurt
did
us at all.
just enough to get into the playoffs, and then they lost in the first round. The most famous incident during this time was when Michael Irvin slashed teammate Everett McIver across the neck
crazy.
with
I barely
scissors
heard
in
about
the
that
team
too.
locker room. Ironically, Irvin's career would end the following year due to a neck injury.
Yeah. It's kind of like karma for what he did. But also, it sucked. I remember watching that as a kid, and I felt bad. I was so sad about that, man. And what made it worse, I think what made me hate Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Eagles fans so much was the fact that the Eagles fans were cheering because of that shit. And I thought that was so fucking disgusting. To cheer about somebody being hurt like that. That was like, motherfucker, I think he felt like he got DDT, almost like DDT'd I gotta go back and rewatch it, but I felt like that motherfucker Michael Irvin got DDT'd into that shit, or planted. So yeah, man, after that, I just hated the Eagle fans. I mean, the Commanders and Giants were more like competitors and shit like that, but the Eagles, because of their fans, they just made me hate them so much. Because I felt like the fans didn't deserve any of that shit. Because that was fucking disgusting. To cheer for somebody's injury like that. And it's not like he did anything personally wrong to any of them. It's just because he played for the Dallas Cowboys. And I just felt like that was disgusting. But these are the same people who fucked up Santa Claus too. So...
Considering how good the Cowboys had been in the 90s,
like
what they had done under
steroids.
Chan Gailey was just not enough for Jerry Jones. So, he fired him after 2 seasons. And this would be a decision that he would later say that he regretted, because of who they had next. Jerry decided to hire Dave Campo. Campo had been the team's defensive coordinator, and had never been a head coach at any level. As you can see, the quality of who Jerry Jones was able to pull had taken a noticeable dip.
I want to get
Right?
back to the
It's getting worse
championship
and worse.
attitude that we had in 92, 93, 94, 95.
In a desperate attempt to find Michael Irvin's replacement, Jones sent 2 first-rounders to Seattle for Joey Callaway, then proceeded to give him a massive contract that eventually led to Deion Sanders' departure.
Yep, and
Callaway's years in Dallas were hugely disappointing. Under Campo, this team saw 3 brutal seasons. It saw Aikman retire, it saw Emmitt Smith's last season in Dallas.
Man. They all went out with a whimper too, man. I mean, sure, Emmitt Smith broke the record, but the Cowboys went out with, they went out on a whimper. Shit. And I was still cheering them on, man. 5-11. I remember those years. 5-11 they went. Remember them playing for the against the Commanders. When they went up and played against the Commanders, and I think it was Darren Woodson who picked them off, or Roy Williams. I think it was Darren Woodson. Picked them off and ran it, and pretty much that won the game, and they were 5-11. I remember being so happy that they at least won 5 fucking games. As a kid, I just wanted my team to win. Now I look back at that, I'm like, shit, man.
Well, this team was just living off of nostalgia by that point. The pieces that once made this franchise great were either retiring or way past their primes. Campo is viewed by the fans as the worst head coaching hire in the team's history. And it was clear that Jerry Jones was struggling to figure things out after what they had done in the 90s. This was a period of uncertainty across the board. At quarterback, it was a bumpy transition away from Aikman, with Quincy Carter and Chad Hutchinson taking snaps under center.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
They had a different top receiver in each of those years.
Chad Hutchinson days.
The Cowboys were in search of a new identity. Someone needed to take them into their next era.
I think what Jerry understands is that if I had a whole bunch of talent, that I can put any coach in there. But when I don't have a whole bunch of talent, I better get me a coach with a whole bunch of talent.
Obviously, there will be changes here. There isn't any doubt about that.
Bill Parcells.
The Gym Monster 2 is taking my workouts to a whole new level.
Bill Parcells was a well-established, past his prime hard ass who had been out of coaching since 1999. He had a remarkably successful coaching career to that point, and Jerry Jones had brought him in to establish an old-school toughness and identity the team needed.
You better think about that, because you can't play if you don't do what I tell you. You cannot play if you don't listen to what I'm saying.
Here's an excerpt from Wikipedia. Quote, always known for deploying psychological tactics and strategies to get the most from his players, Parcells mandated upon his arrival in 2003 that the Cowboy star placed on the helmet was a privilege reserved for players that had made the team, not a right, and informed all rookies that regardless of their draft position, it was incumbent upon them to earn the star. Since then, it's been a regular practice for new Cowboys to earn their star.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, though, because they haven't earned their star yet. You know, we got to go out there and earn that shit. So, yeah, I didn't mind that at all, actually. Parcells to me wasn't bad. Like I said, it was just a class again with Jerry, and maybe he was a little outdated, but...
Immediately, the Cowboys saw improvement under Parcells. They went from 5-11 to 10-6 in his first season, and they made the playoffs.
More play action by Carter.
Quincy Carter.
Looking deep down the left side.
So much potential without rest in peace to Terry Glenn.
They possessed a much better defense, which
They did.
ended up being one of the best in the
Dexter
NFL
Coakley,
that season.
Dak Wynn.
However, things quickly faded. They didn't make the playoffs the next 2 seasons, and they just didn't have the same level of defense that they had. Plus, they were struggling to build any continuity on offense. The main issue was Parcells had a different main starting quarterback in each of his 4 seasons as the Cowboys head coach. Quincy Carter was a young quarterback who showed promise at times, but he failed multiple drug tests that led to his sudden departure.
He couldn't help himself. He kept getting up on them damn drugs, bro. It's just ridiculous to me, man. It's like, it's kind of just like when you get everything and you've been in the, and you know, in the crapper for so long, or in this situation for so long, that you try to do everything right, and but then you have these vices, and then when you get to have everything you want, it's like it just exasperates the situation and just makes things worse because you can't handle it, self-control and shit like that. Quincy Carter had no self-control, and it cost him the starting gig.
In 2004, Vinny Testaverde was a 41-year-old journeyman on his last legs. Drew Bledsoe was also in the twilight of his career and had the most success of these 3, but his play began to fade in his second year with the Cowboys.
There goes the soon-to-be star.
Midway through the 2006 season, Parcells decided to make a change at quarterback, and he went with the pretty unknown and undrafted quarterback Tony Romo. Romo had been with the team for 2.5 years to that point,
Tony Romo's my guy,
and had gained favor from the staff.
4th and 9. They just ran off the linebacker.
I remember this shit.
Fires over the middle, right at the goal line.
And he's just like, come on, let's go.
Like
Look
it,
at it.
right at the goal line. Whoa, he's in! And Tony Romo to the end zone.
You can see how happy this moment made Bill Parcells. That preseason earned Romo a roster spot in 2004. Now, in 2006, it was his turn to show off his game in the regular season. And he made it clear he belonged.
And by the way, Tony Romo is coming in now at quarterback. And Romo back to throw his first NFL pass. Deep, down the left side for Sam Hurd. Fade, caught it, leaping in the air at
Sam
the
Hurd, man, that's
5-yard
another
line,
one that
and
messed
down
up
to
his
the
whole
4.
life.
Here's second and goal, and a busted play, and Romo throws it out to Owens, and it's caught on the left side of the end zone for a touchdown.
In 10 regular season games, he went on to surprise the entire NFL, leading the league in yards per pass attempt, put up one of the highest quarterback ratings in the NFL, and earned Pro Bowl honors. Also in 2006, you saw Jerry Jones do what he had done throughout his career. He had gone from Michael Irvin to Joey Galloway to Keyshawn Johnson, and now he had Terrell Owens. During Owens' time in Dallas, Parcells only referred to him as, quote, the player. Owens had made a great connection on the field with Romo that season, and he would later come to defend his quarterback in a 2008 press conference.
Oh, God.
It's my team. It's my quarterback.
The season was good enough to get this team back to the playoffs, and there was a lot of promise as they were about to win that game versus Seattle.
But then when he left, he talked shit about them. Like, legit about Tony Romo and Jason Witten having this little, like, you know, they were having this little meeting and shit like that, and it was just between those two, and I get it. Gio wanted to be a part of that shit. It's like the one person that's like part of like a third wheel, and then felt like he gets left out. So I get it. You know, you feel like you're the star and you deserve to like have that one-on-one with your quarterback and stuff like that. But for Tony, Jason Witten was that guy. For him, he was a safe. He was always the one he could depend on. So I get it, but yeah, T.O. didn't talk shit about him after.
But then, this happened.
15-yard field goal attempt. Oh, he stumbled by
Look at that, how close he was, bro. I'm fucking heartbroken.
by Jordan Davido.
To see a field goal attempt that goes in 99% of the time have the improbable happen was shocking to all those who witnessed it. For younger football fans, you may not remember a time when holders were quarterbacks.
Yep.
It was typical in those days for a team's backup quarterback to be the team's
And
placeholder.
also, let's be for real. I still go with the fact that ball boy don't fucked us over, bro. The Seattle ball boy, he fucked us over. Supposedly took out a new ball, and I said this in the last video too, but I'm gonna keep saying it. And it didn't break that shit in. It was like a new fucking ball or whatever. And didn't break that shit in. So when Tony got it, it was like fucking slippery as shit. And so basically when Romo got it, he couldn't get a good grip on it, and the rest is history. Just a number of conspiracy shit that be happening behind the scenes. Y'all, everybody wants to talk about Cowboy get like all the calls against the referees right here, but it's shit like this that make me say, I don't know, if the Cowboys did have that shit, they would have won Super Bowls left and right like they were the damn Lakers in basketball. So turns out that's not the case.
What made this situation unique was that since Tony Romo took over mid-season, Dallas didn't change their protocol, which made him the only starter in the NFL by that point, still holding for the kicker. This moment led to rule changes. The following season, the NFL introduced K-balls. These were footballs only used for kicking. Basically, they made the whole procedure easier from snap to hold to kick, and kicking accuracy hit all-time highs in 2007. Also, not too long after that, teams began to realize that since a kicker and punter spend so much time together at practice, why not just make the punter hold? By the early 2010s, everyone in the NFL was doing this. To go back to the infamous snap that was botched, what's so crazy is he nearly scrambled into the end zone. It would have happened if it weren't for an incredible play by the defender. Despite the successes Romo would experience throughout his career, he would never live this moment down. Also, after 4 seasons, Bill Parcells decided to retire once again.
He said, fuck this shit.
Jerry
fuck
replaced him with Chargers defensive coordinator Wade Phillips. Although Phillips wasn't the hard ass that Parcells was, he had a proven pedigree in the NFL, being a head coach multiple times. And he was a schematic genius on the defensive side of the ball.
He was
Under
that.
Phillips, the defense saw immediate improvement. They became one of the best in the NFL. And the offense was absolutely rolling. The 2007 season was the Cowboys' most dominant season since their last Super Bowl run. The offense was unstoppable behind their trio of Romo, Owens, and Witten, as well as their young running back Marion Barber. The Cowboys finished 13-3, locked down the #1 seed, and were the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl from the NFC. In the divisional round, they faced off.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business. Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm
against their division rival, the New York Giants.
Oh my God.
The Cowboys came in as heavy favorites to win this game.
You're Cowboys and Giants. Let's begin with you, Howie. Frank is taking the Cowboys. Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm still laughing at Frank's piece. That's funny. Dallas.
All right, Jimmy?
They copied off of me. I'm taking Dallas.
But instead of a dominant win, they found themselves
Oh my
in a
God,
dogfight.
look at that shit.
New York
Hold
found
up,
a
I
way
gotta
to
go
take
back
the
on
lead
him.
early in the fourth, and the Cowboys got
Look at that shit.
And Giants. Let's begin with you.
They copied off of me. I'm taking Dallas.
But instead of a
play right here,
dominant
man.
win, they found themselves.
If Patrick Hayden catches that ball, bro, he catches it in stride, nobody's touching him. This guy ain't touching him. He's going this way. He's going up. And he's gone. That's a touchdown right there. And we win this fucking game. The way that game was going, we win this fucking game. But no, Patrick Creighton, of course, the football gods had to give him fucking butterfingers and
themselves in a dogfight. New York found a way to take the lead early in the fourth, and the Cowboys got multiple opportunities to answer, but with bad intentional groundings to just barely missing on passes like these, the Cowboys fell short in the end of what was considered a shocking defeat, and the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl a few weeks later. Entering 2008, despite that devastating playoff loss, the Cowboys were seen as the favorites out of the NFC, and they had the second best overall Super Bowl odds. They were also featured on Hard Knocks, which only added to the hype. But despite a 4-1 start, this team faltered late and found themselves in a win-and-you're-in scenario.
I will say this. This has always been a thing that Dallas just fell apart every time they got to like a late November or like in December for sure. January as well. I would say it got a little bit better under Dak Prescott. But yeah, it was so bad.
This is the Philadelphia Eagles, and they got worked. They were blown out in embarrassing fashion. Surprisingly, the Cowboys released Owens after the 2008 season.
Nah, man. After that game with the Eagles, bro, I remember going again. I'm gonna keep stopping this video. I'm sorry, but I remember like going to my aunt and my uncle's house to watch the game, and I'm thinking it's gonna be a good game, and that was not the case. I was so mad. I wanted to go home. I was like, man, fuck this shit. I want to go. Let me go, bro. I don't want to be here anymore. Take me home. I need to go. I need to go home. And watching fucking Brian Dawkins like fucking dance and pump up the damn Eagles fans and them singing that stupid ass song. Yeah. I was like, man, fuck this shit.
His performance had taken a dip. The team bounced back in 2009, finishing 11-5 with surprise breakout receiver Miles Austin. This season included dealing a revenge blowout of their own in the regular season finale versus Philly. Then they blew them out again in the wild card.
That was the best feeling in the world.
They got destroyed by the Vikings in the divisional round. The divisional round
it's
was
like we gonna make it this year. We gonna do something. Come on now. Look at this. We don't beat the Eagles 3 times. We gonna go ahead and we gonna beat the snot out of Brett Favre and all that bullshit Vikings, and then nope, fucking lost. Bad. We got fucking destroyed. And of course, bitch ass Brett Favre goes and they decide, oh, we're up 27-3 with about a minute. Oh, like less than 2 minutes to go. Why not score a fucking touchdown? Like we're fucking in Madden. That's the shit that you do in Madden. Yeah, man, that's so fucking disrespectful. Fuck Brett Favre.
proving to be a problem for this team by that point. The positive takeaway here was that the Cowboys finally won a playoff game again. But like I said, they were building a reputation for brutal losses in the divisional round and at the end of seasons in general.
Yeah.
2010 was where the Wade Phillips era came crashing to a halt. With an aging roster, they got off to a 1-5 start. And then Tony Romo broke his collarbone.
Yeah,
after two more
that was
losses.
the start of everything going downhill, and also the fact that I think it was after that Packers game, they stopped playing. You can tell. Like Mike Jenkins, he pulled up. You know, he could have made a tackle, I think, if I remember correctly, and he just said, "Fuck this shit. I'm not doing this shit no more." They just stopped believing, and when players stop believing in coaches and shit, they won't play for shit.
Wade Phillips was fired. Under interim head coach Jason Garrett, the turnaround in the final half of the season was substantial. Due to the
oh, God. Here comes the clapper. Oh, yeah. You're doing great out there. You got sacked for like 10-yard loss? It's alright, man. You got this, man. Oh, wait, you threw an interception? Okay. Hey, man, you fumbled. Critical part of the game? That's fine. We'll get it. Or you missed that field goal that could have won us the game? That's alright. Oh, you got beat on deep coverage? It's alright, man. We're cool, man. It's all good. Oh, we lost the playoff game? That could have really solidified our legacy? That's alright. We good. We good. Motherfucking clapper.
His late season
Jason the
performance,
Clapper Garrett.
Jerry Jones decided to hire Jason Garrett as the full-time coach in 2011. Garrett was the team's former backup quarterback throughout their dynasty and had been the offensive coordinator during that spectacular 2007 season. For the next 3 years, the Cowboys were in NFL purgatory, finishing 8-8 in each of those seasons. They had the right skill pieces to build around, like Dez Bryant becoming one of the best young receivers in the NFL. But they just couldn't quite get over the hump. The defense was a liability and holding this team back. By the end of 2013, the Cowboys had missed the playoffs 4 years in a row. However, finally in 2014, things changed.
Tony Romo.
Not sure if you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming President Trump is declining in the polls. President Trump responded and says Fox News poll.
Okay, shut up.
The defense was finally middle of the pack, which was enough to help support the top 5 offense behind
what happened to Terrence Williams? That man just like disappeared off the face of the earth after he left the Cowboys. I know he left the Cowboys, but he disappeared off the face of the earth. I think he went to Kansas City. I'm not sure. That man is just gone.
Best O-line in the NFL. DeMarco Murray had been good prior to 2014, but that year he led the league in rushing yards. And that Cowboys season resembled that incredible 2007 season. But their 12-4 record wasn't enough to earn them either of the top 2 seeds. After an ugly first half versus Detroit in the wild card, the Cowboys overcame the idea of being chokers for the time being, and they pulled off the comeback with a go-ahead touchdown late in the game. The next game was an absolute classic. The Cowboys trailed and needed a touchdown.
What happened here?
It was 4th down, so it was now or never. Then this happened.
By Dez Bryant! After review, it has been determined that the receiver did not maintain possession.
That's bullshit. I don't know what's going on right here. But man, oh man, I'd say that, man, that was a fucking catch. He caught the damn ball, and I'll keep saying this. He caught the damn ball, and as it was falling, he dove, which was still like him, and still in control of his body. As he was falling, he was still in control of his body. He went and he dove. He literally put his fucking arm out with the ball and tried to cross the pylon. That was a fucking catch. And they said, no, it wasn't a catch because he didn't have complete control of the football going all the way down. He must complete the fucking process. Made a whole fucking rule about that. Said, about completing the process. And still, after all this time, they still don't know what the fuck the catch means because they still fucked that shit up. And then years later, after this shit, then they come out and said, oh yeah, you know what? That was a catch. Like, what the fuck is that gonna do? How the fuck does that help us? Like, that was so fucking irritating, bro. That was our best shot at a championship. Best one for Tony Romo, especially.
The Packers would run out the clock after this moment. This play eventually led to rule changes, and many fans of other teams admit that this should have been a completion. Well, the hangover from this season was immense, because 2015 was terrible. Romo got hurt again, and the season was a painful rotation between the backup quarterbacks on the roster, one of which was Kellen Moore. Despite only starting in 2 games in his NFL career and losing both of them, he is one of just 5 quarterbacks in Cowboys history to pass for over 400 yards in a game. Honestly, that's pretty sick to me. It's just a little fun piece of trivia, but anyways, by 2016, Romo had been the established starter in Dallas for a decade. He had 4 Pro Bowls to his name and was an MVP candidate in 2014. However, he had been injured a lot through his career, and unfortunately, it happened again in 2016.
That was bad.
During the preseason, he suffered a fracture in his back.
Again, bro.
And at the same time, 4th-round rookie Dak Prescott was balling out.
Fade the field, on target again for a touchdown.
Dak did enough in the preseason to give fans hope for the future, and not too long after the regular season began, it was clear Romo wasn't getting his job back.
Yeah. But here's the thing with that. I at least thought that, okay, fine. Dak wasn't going to get it. Tony wasn't going to get his job back then. Because they were on such a roll, it was a momentum thing. I was fine with that. But then they decided, no, we're going to go back. And I would have been fine with Tony still having a shot, And Tony retiring from the NFL after that was just because he couldn't play for the Cowboys. I honestly felt like if the Cowboys had left him in as starter, he would have played. If they brought him back as a starter, he would have played. But, he wasn't going to be the starter anymore. And Tony Romo decided to retire after that. And I think that was just the way it was. And I don't think he was willing to be a backup to anybody. And I don't blame him for feeling the way he felt, because that man still had immense talent. And he still could sling a fucking football around. Problem was his back. And the arrival of Dak Prescott, that's what did it in.
Throws wide open. Jason Witten to win the game.
And Jason Witten deserved a damn Super Bowl. Let's be for real. Des Bryant, Jason Witten, Tony Romo were all in their fucking prime, and they deserved fucking Super Bowl together. And it's because Jerry Jones could not get his shit together to give him that damn Super Bowl. So now all 3 of those guys, those fucking Hall of Famers, they are Hall of Famers. And they will now go down as the triplets who deserved a Super Bowl and never got it.
And the best O-line in the NFL. Dak complemented this offense tremendously in 2016. He went on to win Rookie of the Year and was even an MVP candidate that season, which is something I talked about all the way back when I first started making videos on this channel. The 2016 Cowboys were the best rendition of the franchise since 2007, and in some ways they were better. Like 2007.
Enjoy the show and save the Flex Your Credits electricity plan from the Lion.
Why did the student eat his homework? Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake. If that made you smile, you'll love.
Oh God.
They locked up the #1 seed and had high expectations for a Super Bowl run in the playoffs.
Yeah,
once again, they faced off against the Packers in the playoffs, and this was an absolute classic. At first, the Cowboys looked completely overwhelmed, going down 28-13. And after this interception, many thought the game was over. But Dallas stormed back, tied it up, and these teams went back and forth. It looked like the game was going to go to overtime. But then A-Rod made one of the greatest throws I've ever seen. Then Mason Crosby broke the hearts of Cowboys fans as time expired. This one was less of a Cowboys choke job and more of just a Hall of Fame level moment by Aaron Rodgers. This was a stunning and painful defeat, but it seemed like the team at least had a young nucleus of talent that gave them hope for a bright future. However, the rest of the Jason Garrett era was pretty underwhelming. They missed the playoffs the following season, and then the next year they did win in the wildcard round, but they lost again in the divisional round. Then they would miss the playoffs again in 2019, which was the final straw for Jason Garrett.
Had to go,
Despite coaching the team for 10 years, he didn't exactly have the love of the fan base due to his mediocre clock management, lack of a fiery attitude, and the constant annoying clapping. 2019 was such a weird year because they outscored their opponents by over 100 points, yet they didn't make the playoffs. It probably was due to bad coaching. Well, their next hire certainly got more consistency out of the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy was a Super Bowl winning head coach. He was never given as much credit as the typical championship coach because he had Aaron Rodgers. Overall, he was not seen as a great hire or a bad hire, somewhere in the middle. 2020 was the first season in the McCarthy era, and it was pretty rough. But they bounced back in 2021 with the #1 offense in the NFL. They went on to win 12 games, and they made the playoffs. Similar to that Green Bay playoff game in 2016, the Cowboys were getting worked for most of the game, but they came barreling back and got themselves within 6 late. And infamously, Dak had that draw play that just took too much time, ending the game in stunning fashion. In 2022, they were once again a 12-win team, and they managed to win in the wildcard round. And again, they played the Niners in the playoffs. This time around, the Cowboys just couldn't muster up enough offense, and it cost them in the end. Once again, in 2023, they won 12 games again. The one thing you could say about the McCarthy era was that they were damn consistent in the regular season.
They were winning.
And Dak had his best season of his career, going on to earn second-team All-Pro honors and runner-up for MVP.
Playoffs,
in the wildcard round, the Cowboys were massive favorites against the Green Bay Packers, who no longer had Aaron Rodgers, and they were kind of an underdog team to make it into the playoffs in the first place. However, the Cowboys got rocked. This one was an absolute shocker.
Love zips it in there and caught for a touchdown.
Dan Quinn sabotaged the shit out of us too, man. That man was trying to get the fuck out. He's like, I'm never gonna be the head coach here. I need to really go up there because that's the only way I'm gonna be able to interview for the Commander's job, which he got. And yeah, man, we never played zone defense, and all of a sudden, we always play man-to-man, and so all of a sudden he decided, oh, we're going to go ahead and play zone defense, like, let's play zone defense, and everyone like, what the fuck, wait, you sure about that? And I think man-to-man would be fun. No, we're playing zone. We're playing zone. And y'all get the fuck blown out, and I can go get my motherfucking ass job somewhere else. And Dan Quinn and the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game for following year.
The thing with the Cowboys is they seem to do this every year. They have this awesome team on paper, and then they really do prove it in the regular season. And enough people convince themselves that this is the year they finally arrived. Then history happens again, and those who have been preaching the message of same old Cowboys are again proven correct. Recency bias makes you forget what history's telling you, that this is the same old Cowboys. 2024 was a year where it all fell apart. Dak got injured again, and in his absence, the team finished 7-10, and Mike McCarthy wouldn't return in 2025. His Cowboys tenure began with Dak sustaining a season-ending injury and ended with another. And this brings us to today. The Cowboys enter the 2025 season with Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach. As a first-time head coach, he's considered by many to be a disappointing hire, considering the pool of potential guys they could have had.
Well, where are Jerry's priorities right now? It's like, does he just want to save some money here with Brian Schottenheimer? Did he get into a situation that he never thought he'd be in and then didn't know who to talk to?
They have really fallen to me, John, and I don't take any pleasure in saying this, they've become a little like Cleveland. They're a little like the Jets. They're not as chaotic, but they're really a second-tier franchise.
Whether it's Jerry Jones having too much control, or paying B quarterbacks A+ quarterback money, or the players simply just choking when it matters most, there really isn't another team like the Cowboys. The late former player Uche Nwaneri, rest in peace, gave an interesting perspective on Reddit from his brief time with the Cowboys. The whole thing is worth reading, and I'll link below. For this video, I will pick out a few quotes that stand out to me. Quote, "In my short time playing in Dallas, I learned a lot about the circus environment that is the world of the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys fail because they have an owner who has interjected himself in the daily operations of a professional sports franchise. When I first walked into the Cowboys facility as a free agent signing after leaving Jacksonville, I was filled with excitement. Yet that would soon turn to annoyance, as I was constantly reminded of the privilege it was to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Posters and signage plastered all around the facility pushed a message of prestige and inflated arrogance. And as a player who came from a small market team in the Jaguars, I could sense that arrogance a mile away. It was as if we were in some alternate universe in which the Cowboys were defending Super Bowl champs. It was quite mind-boggling to me that the staff, headed by Garrett, was promoting a false culture around a mystique that had long since faded in the mind of those who had lived outside the cultural bubble of the silver and blue. In the end, for better and for worse, Jerry Jones is responsible for the constant failings of the Dallas Cowboys. The locker room in Dallas buckles under the immense pressure and hype created by long past success. Until he steps back and lets go of the power he has embellished himself in, nothing will change.
Nope. He's not wrong. Is that it? Yeah.
Not getting two here, though. Here's Prescott.
Oh, God.
That's going to be picked off, and no one in front of him. Darnell Savage, touchdown.
Okay, let's call that one. Okay, let's put it back on that motherfucker's picture. Okay, so, yep, there you have it. I totally agree with everything that was said in this video. Jerry Jones is the fucking problem. And things will never change until he changes or until he's fucking out of there. But I will say this. When I first heard of Brian's hire, say that because I don't want to butcher his name right now. It's late and I don't want to butcher his name, so Schottenheimer. There you go. I did it. I got it. I was very not happy about it because you could have had Dion, but I also felt like Dion was just more like trying to get more money out of Colorado. But anyways, I didn't until I heard him in his press conference. I didn't like Brian until I heard him in his press conference, and I was like, okay, maybe. And to see how the players are with Brian, and since he's a younger hire, and he knows the guys, I think he'll be a pretty great coach. Honestly, we'll see what happens here. Going forward, if that Jerry either lucked into this bullshit or he knows something that we don't. But it's been a while since he knew something that we don't, because shit ain't been working. So yeah, it really just comes down to the fact Jerry's been the fucking plague of this franchise for forever. Even Stephen Jones too, man, because Stephen Jones could step in and say something. At this point, you know what? Let's put Charlotte in there. Let's go ahead and put Charlotte Jones in there, like Running Point, that show on Netflix with Kate Hudson, where she takes over for the family's basketball franchise. Let's go ahead and put Charlotte in there. Let's do that. Let's bring some actual fucking change. Let's do that, because Jerry and Stephen Jones right now, they're a couple of fucking idiots. Especially with this whole Michael Parsons shit that they just exasperate. It just pisses me off. I mean, Jake Ferguson got a damn contract. Let's be for real. And I love Jake Ferguson. I love him to death, but he's nowhere near Michael Parsons' level. And it just seems like there's a theme there. I'm not going to say it, but there seems to be a theme there. Jake Ferguson got his money. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and now Michael Parsons are the ones that are being held without an extension. They ain't getting paid their money. So hell, Dak Prescott, was it CeeDee Lamb got his contract extension, his big money, maybe a week and a half before the season started, and then Dak Prescott he got that the morning of the first game of the season. So yeah, man, this bullshit. This would have been a lot cheaper for Dallas if they just fucking did it earlier and now made it more expensive, and now Jerry's trying to do back end bullshit with Micah Parsons trying to work around his Parsons agent. It's bad business, but I'll get into that later when I make that rant video. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this reaction. Your Cowboy fans, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, I believe Jerry Jones is the real problem behind it all. for you Cowboy haters, I know you probably enjoyed this video and watching a reaction like this. Watching the pain just ooze out of me right now, as I'm just like so fucking done. And I should be done, but I can't quit them. Toxic as fuck. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Guys, stay safe out there. Much love to all of y'all. Thank you for those who watch my videos. Still building something here. Still learning new things about how to do it, and I will probably do a hell of a lot better editing videos. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Love you. Stay safe.